Welcome to 901, the second show. You went through the first show. We're all looking at you. Are you lying? Did you do it? Did you make the breakthrough? Did you have the beginning? Apparently some of you didn't. Okay. So it makes it hard because if you haven't heard the first one, you may not understand something about where we're going with the second show. So what do we do with this show? Do I put it out and say, the cure is yours to use at your own rate? That you have been invited to grassroots opportunity, participation, that you yourself can be part of making new 901s. Let's make sure that we open this up as broad as possible. Because what are the questions? What are the solutions? Are we willing but to bestow the cure? Do we participate and help make more 901s to cure society? To lay new paving stone for new walkways, new roads for us to travel on, for others to travel on? Was the first breakthrough enough for you? Did it help everything click? Did it just snap? Were the doors thrust open? Should politics, a campaign, should it have more in it? Should you be able to participate in a campaign and be paid? Should you be able to participate in a campaign and be willing to just be a volunteer? Should you participate in a campaign and be able to make a profit? Should you be able to make friends? Sort through vast numbers of human beings to more readily find people that you're compatible with? Should you reserve a spot for geniuses? Should you work on a multiality that is so incredibly embracing that it will never die? Honestly, should there be a salvage from participating in the election process so that it's more than just participating and oops, okay, it's over with? Shouldn't you be able to enrich yourself, enlighten yourself? Should you be able to jump around between enlightenment, enrichment, into that great, wonderful, good feeling when you just help somebody out? You just help them up another step. You help them understand how to open the doors for themselves. Sometimes reward for you and other people, you can share it. How do we limit ourselves in our exploration, our participation, literally in 901? Are we going to begin 901 as our beginning inference? Are we going to add different categories to this? Are we going to look at things in a practical way and say, okay, there are those of us who have been endowed with liquid cash. We've got it. We're keeping it. We're working along with it. we're seemingly very secure. But what about the 7 out of 10 people in society who can't make that jump? It didn't happen. Now let's be honest, if we can be honest. You think that you're solid, you think that you're secure, but are you? Because at any given time, you can have very clever people invent a brand new weapon. It's a gun. And they're going to stick it in your face and they're going to rob you. But the reality is that that weapon, that gun, doesn't necessarily look like a gun. It's something somebody cleverly comes up with. And it basically screws you out of something that you own or that you're supposed to be achieving. It's a device of robbery, of thievery. And you shouldn't lie to yourself because anybody can be vulnerable. It can happen to anybody. You need to happen. You need to be. You need to make the big jump. You must achieve retirement in less than 5 years in a major way. How do you do this and be generous at the same time? Carpentry. Definitely carpentry is a solid item that can help. So what do you do if you're a doer, if you're a helper? Do you just say, wow, there's somebody who needs some money, let's go give them $5 or $10 or $20? But do you have something else? Do you have a piece of paper, a booklet, a business card? If you're 901, you might be the genius that invents a lot of different types of business cards, that hands of business cards that has a great imparting of knowledge, a great invitation to solutions, something that's much more, something that has substance. Oh, more than just enlightenment. There's a financial component. Do you dare participate? Do you? You're not sure. Maybe you need to start listing the categories of what's wrong with society. An easier way to look at a chalkboard so we can tackle the problems, because we can go back to the original 3-lock box comparison item. Is anything that good? Is it hard to come up to that level? But in all earnest, was it fair? Were you fair? Is your new invention fair? Even if it falls short of a 3-lock box comparison, if it's in good earnest, it's forward moving. And somebody might find a way to, well, elaborate on it, expand it. It can become highly valuable later on. So 901, definitely 901. What are you participating in? Are you participating in making a brand new justice system? What is your participation there? Make a note of it. Set a page aside for those notes. You can expand later. Let's begin building a resource database. Maybe you're doing it on X. Maybe you're just making your own categories. Maybe you're making websites. But are you keeping track of your progress? How is this all coming together? What's going on with other people's campaigns? There's wonderful people of high-end value that have major elements, portions of 901ism, all around different campaigns. If you're a parent, you want your kids to succeed. You want them to achieve everything faster than you achieved it. Hopefully you achieve something. This can have pain in it, great pain. If you're young, you want to obtain the high-end knowledge at a faster rate than your parents. You want to succeed faster. You want the 5-year program to retirement. You want to be independently wealthy rapidly. 901. Let's consider security. This is important. 7 out of 10 people keep getting victimized in life. It's a reoccurring theme. New, incredibly creative thinking from somebody else comes in and divests your life. This is reality. It keeps happening again and again and again. And you have to ask yourself, in all trueness of 901, are you a tea drinker or are you a punch drinker? What is the truth of this? This is something that you need to be honest with yourself. 901, you need to be able to work with people, regardless of whether they're drinking tea or punch. Of course, myself, I prefer to consider myself a custom blend. 901, multi-voice learning and tracking. 901. There are many aspects of ways we can do things if we're not afraid. We jump back to security. The reality is, when you look at different people out there, they're secure in life because they can afford to have a small army around them. Some of them have weapons, some of them have pens, some of them have briefcases. Whatever it is they need as a accoutrement to perform their task. 901. So we have a situation where people, some of them, have protected themselves in very creative ways. There's all these fantastic options that have been invented. Some people ride on a vehicle driving down a road where they actually never pay taxes. They have figured out a way to arrange all of their investment strategies to utilize nothing but these fantastic areas of loopholism that always defer all cost to others and to the government, while harvesting and effectively, well, not necessarily hiding, but reintegrating all profits back into their machine of success. 901. So more truth time, more honesty with yourself. 901. Nobody has enough security. Really? Okay, 7 out of 10 people do not have adequate security. You don't have a private SAR, security link. You don't have a well-rounded database that has creative programs and AIs working on making your life better, working on understanding how other people are using money to manipulate situations to divert all cost, yet keep all profits to themselves. It's important to understand people who are endlessly fighting a conundrum the wrong way. It's difficult to get certain breakthroughs to occur if people don't participate and expand themselves. 901. What are you doing for yourself? Do you want people in a political campaign to be able to share information about other purposes? Is there an ethics problem with the design of our political system constraining us too much, being unfair in too many ways, making a conundrum out of how to verify ethics? Are we sentencing our leadership into a situation where it's a pay grade drop based, if you compare genius powers that we are demanding as members of the public? So the understanding that leadership people need more money, how about we say yes, 901? But then we need to say there needs to be honest ways of doing that, 901. Because we don't need people to have strings that have been attached to them. We don't need them to be corrupt about the way they're doing it. But we do need to have the responsibility to open up honest ways for our leadership to make more money so we can attract brilliant people that are honest. We need this, 901. There are those who would use different techniques of 901 and convert it into two words, FU, and have 100,000 different ways of saying it. So the inflections would be very revealing and entertaining at the same time. But we're working with 901. We want a hidden positive thunder in our lives that's not intrusive. Something that's positive, reinforcing, something to bring us strength. We need more wonder in our lives. We need to address these hard items. We need to make a short list, 901. Because we have to be honest with the reality that the last, 50 plus years or so, we have not really moved forward. We could go through the short list and say, how well has your political activism done? How has your political party done for you? How has this worked? Oh yeah, you could be honest about, is there deception? Some get while others don't. But is that based upon achievement? Is laziness a factor, or is there something hidden that's a lie? Jump back to the reality that, well, we've gone backwards. That's reality. The tactics that have been utilized for the last 50, 60 years in political activism have failed. Oh, you can try to tell yourself that your wages went up. Well, some of you. but your buying power went down. That means that the overall bookwork says you went backwards. You lost, you're continuously losing, and you're not building hard assets. And you need to be honest about this. 901. So we need to be wise about how we utilize the phrase 901. 901. 901. It's important. We need to succeed. 901. It can start by being truthful with yourself. Now, some people are beyond that barrier. They've been truthful with themselves, but for some reason, they're not adjusting their tactics. They're not adding a duality, a multiality facet to what it is they're doing and say, can you work with multiple candidates at the same time, even though there's a primary one that's obviously going to succeed more? Are there ways to make permanent archiving options available so we can all collectively build and achieve? Ways to more readily sort in full safety those people, those resources that we in fact want to, well, actually harvest. We need to find those ways that are more honest and allow us to achieve more. Because all too often politics is too limiting. It's frustrating for people. There's a complexity about the rules of how people can participate and be able to make money as they do this. And you have people that want to say, well, just be a communist about the whole thing, do everything for mankind. And I want to say, it's nice if we do that one day a week, but in reality, we have bills to pay, we have expenses, and we need an honest conduit system that's transparent. We really do. We do. So, building permanent archives is something I've talked about for years. Some people are not quite embracing it. Other people have made different attempts on it. But a national archivism will do something fantastic. Yes, you keep the privacy parts about it, of course. Now I want to ask you, are you ready for the new explosion of how people can rapidly pass text files? Copy, paste, boom. Going right into AI, ChatGPT, where you can work with it. And sometimes it's, well, a little too woke. But other times you can be incredibly efficient, very streamlined. This area affords us fantastic new powers. The door has been thrust open, and the activity definitely has begun. Oh yes, we're on large. Make no doubt about it. It's happening. So how do we move forward from here? Interaction, well, it's required sometimes. 901. So I want to thank you for going through this next level of rating, of measuring, of sorting what needs to be sorted. And I look forward to hearing from you in the future. This ends episode 2 of 901. My name is Michael Crosby, and yes, I'm a candidate for POTUS.